Welcome back. This is our health segment. Now we call it Health Boost. Joining me right now is our in-house health expert, Sneha Mordani. Sneha, I believe the next report is about chocolates. Now that's got me worried. Should I stop eating chocolates altogether? Dark chocolates especially, I love them. Does that mean I stop eating dark chocolates? Soil contamination as well, I believe you referred to in your report. Does that mean many other items, food items, could have metals?
Yes, that's a possibility. So what we're talking about right here is a study that has been done to study soil contamination and the presence of harmful metals, namely cadmium and lead in dark chocolates. Why dark chocolates and not any other chocolates? And we'll go into that in a bit from now. Our report talks about it. But the fact is that owing to soil contamination, there is in fact lead and cadmium that has been found in dark chocolates. The ingredient used is cacao essentially, and where do you find it? You find it in chocolates, mainly in dark chocolates, which do not use much of milk solids, and it's not very sweet as well. So that's where the lead and the cadmium has been found. We all know that metal contamination and exposure to these chemicals obviously has a serious implication on your health, and particularly pregnant women and children are at risk. So first, let's talk about our report that details on what really has happened there and which are the chocolates essentially that have been found heavy on lead and cadmium contamination. Let's take a look at that report.
If you love chocolates and have been asked to go easy on the sweets, milky variety, once for health reasons, chances are that you turn to dark chocolates. Dark chocolate is a rich source of beneficial plant compounds called flavonols. It's often touted as a heart-healthy treat. But what if we told you that slab of beautiful dark brown chocolate is laden with harmful metals? A study by Consumer Reports says that many popular brands of dark chocolate contain potentially worrisome levels of lead and cadmium. How was this study done? Researchers used California's maximum allowable dose levels for lead 0.5 micrograms or mcg and cadmium 4.1 mcg to gauge the risk posed by dark chocolate. For 23 of the 28 chocolate bars they tested, eating just an ounce per day would put an adult over the maximum dose for at least one of the heavy metals. 5 bars contains levels over the limit for both lead and cadmium. Consumer Reports has said long-term exposure to the metals can result in nervous system problems, immune system suppression and kidney damage, with greater danger to pregnant women and young children.
Cadmium, these are metals which are more seen in professions which are exposed to it. Like for example, cadmium is used in the silver industry. So people who are working with silver, these workers might be exposed to cadmium intoxication. And again, heavy metal intoxication can cause a range of neurological symptoms affecting right from the brain, so cognitive problems in memory, dementia-like diseases, to the peripheral nervous system like neuropathies. The nerves are not working well.
What failed the test? Products found to contain excessive metal content included a dark chocolate bar and a hot chocolate mix from Walmart cocoa powder, from Hershey's and Droste. Semi-sweet chocolate chips from Target and hot chocolate mixes from Trader Joe's, Nestle and Starbucks. Only milk chocolate bars, which have fewer cocoa solids, were found not to contain excessive metal content. 28 dark chocolates contained the heavy metals, 23 including chocolate from Dove, Godiva, Lindt and Trader Joe's contained potentially harmful levels of lead, cadmium or both for people who eat 1 ounce of chocolate. How did the metals get there? Chocolate, which is made from the seeds of the cacao tree, can be contaminated with cadmium and lead by polluted soil, not only as the crop grows but also during harvesting and processing. The researchers found cacao plants take up cadmium from the soil before harvest, with the metal accumulating in cacao beans as trees grow, similar to how heavy metals contaminate other foods. Lead levels are influenced by where and how the cacao beans are handled by humans after harvest. Post-harvest, lead contamination mostly happens during the outdoor fermentation and drying of beans, during which soil and dust that contain lead come in contact with the cacao bean shell. Cadmium in cacao beans is introduced from soil through tree roots. Soil additives such as limestone or zinc can reduce cadmium uptake without causing significant root damage. But cacao trees are grown in perennial orchids where it is difficult to incorporate such additives. One solution for chocolatiers is to reduce the amount of heavy metals in cacao solids is to source their chocolate from places where the soil is not cadmium rich and where there are safer and cleaner work areas to reduce the amount of lead. Dark chocolates should be an infrequent treat. Eating chocolates with a lower cacao percentage or alternating it with the milk chocolate can all help to lower the risk of consuming too much heavy metals. In New Delhi with Sneha Murdani for India Today.
Alright, so essentially Paulimi had asked me this question on whether you should be consuming dark chocolates or not. So Paulimi, so we're all worried because we love chocolates, and dark chocolates are considered to be healthier option as compared to milk chocolates, which are also heavy on sugar. So yes is the answer. You should continue to consume them, but treat it like a treat, because we know that metal contamination is a possibility in many of these chocolates. At the end of the day, we're referring to brands which are available in India as well, like Hershey's, for example. You know, so this is, and Hershey's has, by the way, said that we are working towards reducing, contamination. And so they acknowledge the fact that indeed it is a problem. But the fact of the matter is that soil contamination affects other products, other food products as well. Because chocolate has more cacao and because of cadmium present in the soil, what most chocolatiers have said they'll do is that they'll try to source the beans from different places, which ensures that at least in some areas there wouldn't be cadmium, pollution in the soil or contamination in the soil. So that will ensure less proportion of these harmful chemicals in the soil. Also, during the process of fermentation is when there is a lead exposure that happens. So these are problems that many of these chocolatiers have said they'll try and address. So to cut a long story short, dark chocolates should be treated like a treat.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. But Sneha, also, because you mentioned a lot of popular products like Hershey's, for instance, is there any way you can minimize that risk?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, minimizing the risk is going to be on what chocolatiers intend to do. Hershey's has been sued already. They said we'll source the product from different places to ensure that the contamination comes down, because there will always be lead contamination and cadmium contamination, but that proportion has to be, not as, there has to be a limit to that exposure is what I'm trying to tell you. Yes, treat it like a treat. Have milk chocolates as well. Don't ignore them completely. A lot of people actually hate milk chocolates. So that is something that's the kind of advice that most experts would give, to try and limit your exposure as much as you can.
Right. Sneha, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details. So that probably answers all of your questions that you might have had after reading that report about metals in chocolate.